Hello, everybody. It's good to be with you. As I'm recording this, it has been now several days since we've been able to be together and celebrate Mass. It's a strange experience for you. It's a strange experience for me and Father Eric as well. We've become so accustomed to the liturgy of the church and to pray as a community. And so it's sad for all of us. It's hard not being together. And it's just a reminder for all of us. I realize at this time sometimes that can feel frustrating that we're having to practice social distancing. We're not even able to celebrate Mass right now, and even with all the precautions we were ready and we were beginning to take with Mass, the canceling Masses is really the best thing for us right now, and I fully support our bishops on that. It's an act of charity, as hard of a sacrifice that is for us to do. It is an act of charity that we not be with each other right now for the health and the well-being of those who are most vulnerable. And so thank you for your prayers. Continue praying for each other. Father Eric and I were praying for you guys every day. I'm sitting in my office as I write this, and on my wall behind me is this image of St. Peter and St. John running to the tomb on Easter morning. And we're this parish dedicated to risen Christ, Jesus Christ who has risen from the dead. We proclaim this amazing news. And I love this image because it highlights kind of the anxiety of everything that comes right before the resurrection. These two are running to the tomb, confused. They hear that the tomb is empty. They don't understand what God is doing here. They will soon understand what God has been doing this whole time. And they're soon going to encounter Jesus Christ risen from the dead, and it's going to bring them incredible joy. But at the moment, in this image, it just captures them in their hope, in their confusion, in their wonder, as they run to the tomb, and they're going to step into that tomb and be amazed at what they see as Jesus is not there. And so in some ways, I think it's a fitting image for us. We're running towards that tomb of the risen Christ. We know that Jesus Christ has conquered death. He's conquered everything. He's conquered illness, including the coronavirus. He's conquered sin. Jesus wins in the end. And this experience that we're having right now of not being able to have Mass and not being able to be together is temporary. We know how the story ends. We know that Jesus conquers death. We know that Jesus wins. And we are invited into that life. We're invited to be with him. And we soon will be. And so we maybe are experiencing the emotions that John and Peter were experiencing that morning as they ran to the tomb. And that's okay if we're feeling that sense of loss, that sense of wonder, that sense of fear, confusion. But we know that Jesus really is still with us, and he's going to carry us through this as he carries us through everything. So thank you for your prayers for one another, and we continue to lift each other up in these days. I think that as we experience this separation from one another, separation from even the sacraments, we are invited into this opportunity to grow in our spiritual lives, grow in our own prayer. The prayer of the church is beautiful, and we are called to this incredible, rich experience of the liturgy. And yet at this time, it seems the Lord is calling us to actually grow in our personal prayer. And so we're being invited in some ways into the desert, as we're not able to come here. You're going to have to make a shrine. You're going to have to make a prayer space out of your own home or out of your car or wherever you might find yourself every day. I know it feels like we're in a desert, and maybe that's really fitting as we're experiencing kind of a social desert, as we can't be with each other and we can't do the things we would normally do, and we're limiting ourselves right now. It's fitting because Jesus went into the desert during those days before his public ministry began. And so we go into the desert with Jesus to pray with him. Because what else did he do for 40 days in the desert? He just spent his time with the Father in just one-on-one conversation with him. And so we're being invited into that desert with the amazing news that Jesus really is with us. He's going to guide us, and he's going to give us consolation and even the gift of spiritual communion when we can't be receiving communion itself. So I've created this little Flocknote video series called Praying in the Desert. And I hope that this is an opportunity for all of us to enter more deeply into this time of spiritual growth, individual spiritual growth and personal prayer. This first topic I chose is silence, because in some ways we're being drawn into silence as we're spending probably more time at home and away from the noise and the busyness of the world. The Lord is inviting us to spend a little more time interiorly. It would be a shame if we filled up all of that quiet time that we're finding at home now by turning on the TV or turning on music or scrolling through things on TV or on the internet or just binge watching TV shows on Netflix. It's an opportunity missed if we don't dedicate more time in prayer and in silence. And so this time right now is an invitation for us to enter into the silence, give to the Lord what we're thinking, what we're feeling, what we're frustrated about, what we're angry about, what we're sad about, what we wonder about. Give it all to Him. And then listen. Wait for Him to speak. Because prayer, first of all, is a conversation with the one that we love. And if we don't give silent time, if we don't give time for the Lord to respond, then it's just a monologue, and we're never going to feel like we're ever in touch with the Lord. We're never going to feel like God is speaking in our lives. But when we make room for silence, then we're making room for God. And so for the sake of kind of diving into this topic more deeply, I'm attaching a video just below this one by Ascension Press. Ascension Press does some really beautiful videos, and especially during Lent. And this video features a priest from Louisiana named Father Mark Toups. He's an incredible preacher, and I loved this video. So I hope you'll listen to it and get some great stuff out of it. And when you're finished watching the video, you can hit reply on this message and let us know how you're doing with Lent right now, how you're doing with the experience of silence and prayer, and if you need prayers for anything in particular. So this is really the best way for us to stay in touch with you. So please keep staying in touch with us on Flocknote. Follow up on our website to see current updates on where things are. And we even have a couple of social media platforms now. We have Facebook and Instagram for those of you who use both of those things. So you can follow us as we can stay in touch and continue to grow together. So enjoy this series as I will be praying in the desert with you and for you. God bless you.